Buckingham Palace, May 2026. The door to the private audience room closes, triggering a protocol that ensures the most critical conversations never reach a public archive. Inside are two figures separated by half a century, yet governed by the same survival strategy. Ke Adiki Nui Kuini na Waihono I Tepo became the 8th Maori monarch in 2024. Her coronation, involving sacred oils in a 19th century Bible, mirrors the ceremony that defined Charles's own life. For the king, now 77, and following a schedule limited by cancer treatment, hosting her personally is an acknowledgement of status, not a diplomatic chore. The meeting bypasses the usual channels. While the New Zealand Prime Minister's office handles the friction of daily governance, these two use the Privy Purse protocol to speak beyond the reach of disclosure laws. There are no observers. There is no official transcript. For the Maori Queen, this is a move to ignore the administrators in Wellington. She is reaching back to the 1840 Treaty of Waitangi, a contract signed with the Crown, not a parliament. This private recognition anchors her position in a personal agreement that predates and outlasts current policy shifts. The institution secures its foundation by speaking over the head of the present. The conversation ends without a press release, leaving the New Zealand government to face a relationship it can neither see nor regulate. The New Zealand Ministry of Justice on Aiken Street is currently processing the Treaty Principles Bill. The document consists of 3 clauses designed to move the authority of the 1840 treaty away from the Crown and toward the Parliament. While officials in Wellington draft the text that removes the word partnership from the law, a different document sits on the mahogany table in London. It is the 1995 Deed of Settlement bearing the signature of Elizabeth II. This single page of vellum is the only formal apology ever delivered by a British monarch on New Zealand soil. King Charles III leans forward to examine the script. His mother's signature, written 31 years ago, is the legal anchor for the Maori Queen's presence in this room. The king does not consult the briefing notes provided by the New Zealand High Commission. They sit unopened on a side table in a manila folder. He traces the edge of the parchment with his thumb, feeling the indentation of the wax seal. In Wellington, the Prime Minister is preparing a speech on the necessity of moving past historical grievances. In London, the King remains silent, his hand resting on a promise that the New Zealand Parliament is currently voting to rewrite. The ledger in the King's study reflects more than sentiment. Since 2018, the Maori economy has reached a $126 billion valuation, accounting for nearly 10% of New Zealand's GDP. For a king managing the transition of the Commonwealth, the King at Tonga represents a block of capital that functions outside the traditional diplomatic framework. While officials in Wellington debate the Treaty Principles Bill to centralize authority, the Maori Queen has already shifted the arena. By framing the 1840 treaty as a direct contract with the person of the monarch, she has moved the dispute beyond the jurisdiction of the New Zealand Parliament. The 1995 Deed of Settlement, bearing the signature of Elizabeth II, remains on the table as a legal wall against legislative change. The Queen's motorcade exits the palace, heading toward a series of meetings with international human rights observers. In Wellington, the bells are about to ring for the next session of Parliament, where the bill faces its most contentious reading. The King's thumb remains on the parchment. The meeting in London has no transcript, but its existence is now a matter of record for the constitutional lawyers waiting in the wings. Is the King's direct relationship with the Maori an act of sovereign duty, or a calculated move to undermine a democratic government? Tell us what you think in the comments, and subscribe for more on how the Crown protects its future.